Today we're going to talk about work, energy, and power. So the first thing we're going to talk about is work, and we use the symbol capital W to signify work. And work is just the energy transferred when a force is applied to an object that's moving over a specific distance. So the formula is work equals the parallel force times the distance. And when we talk about parallel force, it is the force that's parallel to the distance that the object is moving. The SI unit of work or energy is the joule, and so that's going to come into play in our problem that we're going to do. A joule is just a 1 Newton per or times meter. All right, so here's our first example. A student lifts a 50-pound ball 4 feet, and he does it in 5 seconds. How many joules of work did the student complete? I can already see that I'm going to have a problem because it's talking about joules, and I am measured in feet and pounds, and so that's going to be an issue. But we'll deal with that issue in a minute. So I'm going to go back to that equation, work equals force times distance. And I know that I am lifting 50 pounds, so that's the force, and I'm lifting it 4 feet. So I'm going to multiply those two together, and I get 200 feet-pounds. Again, I want my answer in joules, not in feet-pounds. So I want it in Newton meters, not feet-pounds. All right, so let's see what we have to do that. So we're going to do a conversion. So you might want to write down this conversion in your notebook so that you can reference back to it. The conversion rate between a Newton and a pound is 1 Newton is equal to 0.225 pounds. So if I have pounds, I'm going to do 1 Newton over 0.225 pounds. The pounds are going to cancel, and then I'm just left with a Newton. So I'm going to basically divide 50 by 0.225, and I get 222.5 newtons. The conversion from feet to meters to feet is 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. So because I am starting with feet, I do 1 meter over 3.28 feet. So again, in effect, the feet are going to cancel, and in effect, I'm dividing 4 by 3.28, and I get 1.22 meters. So now I have my newtons, I have my meters. So now I can find the work in joules. So it would be 222.5 newtons times 1.22 meters, and I get approximately 271 joules. Because remember, a joule is a Newton meter. All right, so energy is just the ability to do work. Light, heat, mechanical, chemical, electrical, those are all forms of energy that can be used to exert a force over a distance. So you can see roller coaster, the solar sail, the NASA solar sail, and the fuel cell are all types of different forms of energy. We are actually, when we're back in class, going to be making, you're going to be designing and building a hydrogen fuel cell car, and then you'll race them against each other. So there are 2 forms of energy. You have probably talked about these in either physical science or physics, or maybe even middle school science. The first one is potential energy. That's our stored energy. It's often talking about the gravitational energy. So if something is sitting on a table and it gets bumped off the table, then that potential energy is turned to kinetic due to gravity. So really, potential energy is just the capability of something to be able to do work based on its position or its configuration. And then once an object moves, then it becomes kinetic energy. So it's once that body starts moving, then its potential energy is converted into kinetic energy, energy of motion. So our energy transformation happens all the time. These are just a few examples of that. So here's like the soccer team that is eating pizza, and they're going to turn that chemical intake, into kinetic energy by getting out and playing the game. So they need the fuel of the pizza to help them turn it into kinetic energy, the energy of motion. Here's using the sun, radiant, to form some type of a chemical reaction. Again, here's an electrical, so here's the electrical grid, and that is going to be converted into some thermal energy by heating up your oven and cooking that turkey. We've already talked about these things. You've done some projects on several of these topics. This is some examples of renewable energy sources. So we have biomass, hydropower, geothermal, solar, wind. And then non-renewables examples would be coal, natural gas, uranium, petroleum. So here is one big thing that we need to talk about. This is conservation of energy, the principle of conservation of energy. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It can, however, change from one form to the other. So when that happens, so like the chemical to kinetic, okay, or electrical to thermal. So when that happens, sometimes we think there's energy that has been destroyed, but really what's happening is it's lost to heat. So oftentimes whenever we're converting things from one form to the other, there is some energy lost due to heat. It hasn't really been destroyed, it's just been turned into heat energy rather than into the form of energy that we're trying to create. So here are just some examples of energy conversions to help make electricity. So let's take a look at solar cells. We have sunlight, then we collect the sunlight and store it and then turn it into electricity. Wind turbines, we use the power of the wind, the motion of the wind, the kinetic, turn it into some mechanical, and then by having the windmills move, and then that generates electricity. So the next thing I want to talk about is efficiency. So again, efficiency is something that we're always concerned with in engineering. For efficiency, we use the symbol, that Greek letter, it's eta, ETA, and it is just the percentage of input energy that is transformed to the output energy. So it is a comparison of what we're getting out versus what we put in. So to find efficiency, we take the output energy divided by the input energy and multiply by 100. And that will give us our efficiency. I'm just going to skip past that one. Power is the rate at which energy is expended or that work is performed over a specific period of time. So there are two different ways to figure power. One of them is if you know energy, and one of them is if you know work. So power is just energy divided by time, or it's work divided by time. The SI unit for power is the watt, and 1 watt equals 1 joule per second. So energy and work are both measured in joules, and so that's where in time is seconds, so it would be either one of those will give us joules per second. So here are some examples of some types of power. Electrical power, it's just something that uses electrical energy to do work. Mechanical power uses that mechanical energy to do work. It's usually a linear or a rotary motion. Fluid power is one that we're going to actually experiment with a little bit further. It is energy that's transferred using liquids, and so the two that we will talk about are hydraulics and pneumatic. So hydraulics uses some type of an oil medium. Pneumatics uses kind of air. So hydraulic, you've all seen examples of hydraulic and you may not have even realized it. So most if you've seen a little bobcat in motion, it's moving dirt or scraping things, its little scoop is powered hydraulically. So the scoop lifts up and down using hydraulics. Any kind of like road equipment out there now uses all kinds of hydraulic type of lifts to move things. And then pneumatics, you probably have seen these and maybe not really realized that that's what you've seen, but an example of pneumatic is there's all kinds of air-powered tools. So if you have seen a nail gun being used, that's hooked to an air compressor usually, and that's pneumatic. An interesting thing about the hydraulics. So I saw a really interesting example last summer when I was in Milwaukee. So my hotel room looked out over the Milwaukee River, and all along the river, it has, whatever roads cross the river, it has drawbridges similar to what we have here in town. And except our drawbridges are kind of, they pivot up. So they have like an anchor point and then they pivot up. Some of them have an anchor point at both sides and they split in the middle and pivot up, or they have an anchor point at one end and just the whole thing raises up. In Milwaukee, it was really interesting because they had these hydraulic bridges. So what happens is the whole road lifts straight up. So it has hydraulic lifts on both sides, and so the whole thing just lifts straight up. The road doesn't split at all. It just lifts straight up, and then when it's done, it moves right straight back down. And so that was really interesting to see that. They did have some pivot bridges as well, but all along the river there, they had those hydraulics that just lifted it up. The pivot ones also have hydraulics that lift it too, but they're not nearly as interesting looking as the one that just lifted the entire road up. So here's an example of power. So we're going back to that same problem that we looked at before. A student lifts a 50-pound ball 4 feet in 5 seconds. How many watts of power did the student use to lift the ball? So if you remember back, we figured out that the work was 271 joules. So that was when we figured out our work in the previous problem. So now I want to know how many watts of power did it use. So remember, power is work over time, since we know work in this case. So it's work over time. So it's 271 joules over 5 seconds. So that gives me 54.3 joules per second. And remember, a joule per second is just a watt. So it gives me 54.3 watts of power is being used to lift that ball. All right, so that is the end of this presentation. So you have an assignment to do today. It's activity 1.2.5. Mechanical efficiency. So get started on that. Jot down any questions that you have, and I will answer any questions. Tomorrow's class time will be devoted to answering questions on that assignment, and then it's actually due tomorrow night by midnight. So I will talk to you tomorrow with any questions that you might have.